Hey everyone, welcome back. Before we proceed, I'd like to place the starting equipment variable in the public category, and we can drag the create equipment slots function in the private category as well. We don't need equip desired starting items publicly, so I'll make this private. The equip item by data asset function would be public because we will need to access this from our widget blueprint. The equip item can be private. Drag this into private. Equip desired starting items can also be private. Right, so it's private already. And set item to equipment slot. This can also be private. And while we're here, let's fill this function out. The first thing we want to do is from the input, we want to drag off and break the structure. And the only pin that we'll need is the data asset. We'll then get the equipment type from it, and we'll convert this equipment type to an integer so we can get access to the index. We're going to do a -1. And then let's get the equipment slots array, drag off and set the array element. Connect the execution pins, and this will be your new index. For the item, will just be the input of this function, which is the item to set. And next, let's get the equipment slots array again, get a reference to the index, and update the structure. So let's get the equipment slots, get a reference, and we already have the index here, so let's drag it in. Create some reroute pins. And next, let's drag off of this referenced structure and say set members in S inventory slot. Connect the execution pins, and the value that we want from this structure is our index. And we already have it here, so let's drag it in. And lastly, we need a way to tell our widget blueprint that our equipment slot, needs to be refreshed. So instead of using this one, I'm going to create another called refresh equipment slots. This requires an input of type S inventory slot as well. And I'll just rename this to be equipment slot. Now I can drag this into my graph, call it, and connect the structure output, and that will be the end of this function. Now we have a function to equip the starting items and to equip the data asset based on whenever we start a game, or if we click it within the level or whatever. Now we need a way to unequip it. So I'm going to duplicate the equip item by data asset function, if I can find it. Right. And I'm going to rename this to be unequip item by data asset. I'm going to blow all of this away, so delete that. And this one is not going to be too long. So I guess we can fill this out real quick. Let's break the structure. By the way, rename the input to be item to unequip. And now I can break the structure, get the data asset from it. Let's get the equipment type and convert this to an integer. And now we have the index. We're going to do a -1 again. And just make sure that in my last function I did the -1. Yeah, I did. So ensure to set the value to 1. And now, since we are removing the item, all we'll need to do is get the inventory slots array and set the array element, connect your execution pins, and this time the item that we're trying to set will just be null. So I'll make the structure and hide all of the unconnected pins. so we'll leave it with nothing. The index will come from right here, and then let's get the data that we set up before. So let's open up set item to equipment slot function, copy these nodes here, and head back to the unequip function and paste it. Drag it in, connect everything up, and then I can call a return node at the end. I'll add a return value of type boolean, rename this to be return value, and set it to true. Now for this, the index will just come from right here, same thing as the last function. And that will be all for the unequip function. We can close this now. Next, we need a way to update some text data and ask ourselves, when we create the item options based on the item that we are trying to right click on, what should the options be? Because currently we have split stack and all of that is just buttons, but what if we have an equipment and we know equipment has a maximum stack size of 1, so we cannot split that. Therefore, the split option should not be visible or not be called at all. The first thing I want to do is close this. Let's head over to the widget class and open up the inventory button. I'm going to head to the graph and create a new function called set button ID. I'm going to head back to my event graph, copy the set text function, and paste it in here. I'll then delete the button text and connect the in text to the input of the function. With this done, that's all we'll need. So we can close this now. We can then open up the item options and rename this use item button. So I'll call this use /equip /unequip item. We can head over to the event graph and we can lead a function so that when the item options is constructed, we know that if it's in equipment, then we should show the option to equip the item. If it's already equipped, then we should show the option to unequip it. And if it's not an equipment at all, then you just should see the use item text. And because of the switch or the selection between these three options, this functionality would be different, so it won't always call use item. So you might have to equip or unequip the item based on the functions that we created, which is the unequip and equip item by data asset. Now, since we need three options with three different outputs, I'm going to make a macro. And this macro is going to be called check item state. And this requires three outputs of type execution pins and one input. So I'll select the input, add one, and create an execution input. I'm going to rename this to be execute so that you won't see the text as an input. And for the output, I'll add 3. The first one is going to be called what? Let's call this non-equipment. So if this is not an equipment, the second will be item not equipped. And lastly, I'll call this item already equipped. I believe I made an error. Great. Now, let's head into the logic of everything. So let's get the inventory slot, and this will be the item that we're currently clicking on. We'll break the structure, get access to the data asset from it, and then get the equipment type. Now, if the item equipment type is equal to none, This means that it's not an equipment item. So I'll add a branch, and then we can connect our output, which is non-equipment. So if this condition is true, it's not an equipment. Before we do this branch, we'll need to update, or we should at least update, the visibility of the button that we have for splitting the stack. So I'll get this split stack button, drag off and search for set visibility. I'll then drag from the invisibility and search for select, and the condition for this select will come from right here. I'll create a reroute bin. Great. Now let's see. If the equipment type is none, then we can leave split stack as visible. If it's not, meaning that it is an equipment, then we don't want to show the split stack option. So we'll set this to collapsed, not hidden, but collapsed, so that the widgets can reposition themselves. Now let's move on. I'm going to copy this, paste it here. And now let's check. Let's get the equipment type and convert this to an integer so we can get access to the index. We're going to do an int -1 again, right? And let's get access to our inventory component. And now we'll need access to the equipment slots. But right now it's private, so let's create a public function for this. So I'm going to duplicate this get inventory slots function, rename it to be get equipment slots, and then I'll just drag in the new variable and replace the current one. That's it. Let's head back to the item options widget, drag off from here and get the equipment slots. We'll then get a reference to this index. And from here we can move on. So firstly, we'll need to check if the slot index with this type contains an item already. So we'll use the global function is slot available. So if the slot is available, then that means it doesn't already have an item. So therefore we should just equip the item and set it to that index. If it already has an item within the slot, then we should give the option to say you should be able to unequip this item, and then you'll have the option to equip it again and all of that. So I'll then add a branch, connect this to the false pin, bring this down a bit. And if this is true, then the item is not already equipped. But if this is false, it means the slot already contains an item, so we can return item already equipped. On the event construct, I'll call this macro. I'll select it and change the instance color to be black, and connect this right after we set the position of the overlay. Then I'll get the button for use, equip, and unequip, and I'm going to search for set button ID. I'm going to bring this forward a bit. Now let's set the text for each button. So if it's a non-equipment, I'll just use item as a text. I'm going to duplicate this 2 more times. If it's not already equipped, then we can say equip item. And if it's already equipped, then we can do unequip item. Let's open up our core files, character blueprint. set the quantity to be 1. I'll then browse to the data asset and give it a maximum stack size of 1. You can see if I give it a maximum stack size of 2 and I add this item to my starting equipment array, the engine will give me the print string that we discussed earlier. So this is why I placed that safety net there. I'll give it a value of 1. I'll set the equipment type to be primary. The equipment class, I'll just select equipment base. Hit save. Right. I'm going to head back to my item options here. So let's see. Okay, let's test it. We don't already have the widget or anything set up, so nothing should be refreshing, but we at least should see the item options being updated. I'm going to add the item, and if I right click now, you can see equip item because we made this an equipable item, right? If it was already equipped, then you would see unequip, and if it's not an equipment, so let's say we change the data asset settings from primary to none and set this to be none as well, and I hit play again, add the item, you should see use item, and now you have the option to split the stack again. Great. In the next episode, we're going to continue with this setup and get everything working and kind of fitting together. That's it for this one, guys. See you in the next one.